Hello there, friends. It's me, Mr. Prof, coming to you from sunny Santa Monica, California. And you probably heard me talk about this before, but one of the things I like to do, one of my hobbies, is I love to go sailing. I like to get out on a sailboat, take that out in the water, cruise around, um, and it's tons of fun. I really super enjoy it. And if you're out sailing, sometimes, if you're very, very lucky, you might see one of these. These are whales. Let me actually make this a little bit bigger so we can see that a lot clearer. So whales, sometimes if you're really super lucky and you're out cruising around, you might bump into a whale. These mostly, I think, are blue whales that we're looking at here on the screen. There are actually a bunch of different kinds of whales. This is a grown-up whale, and this little tinier whale, well, I say tiny, I mean this thing is probably the size of a car, but this is the whale's baby. Baby whales are called calves, just like baby cows are called calves. And it's really common to see a mama swimming with her baby when the babies are young, and then eventually the babies grow up, they get big enough, and then they can leave and go off on their own. Funny thing, even though whales live in the water, they actually breathe air. When they go underwater, they're holding their breath. And they have a little blowhole, which is actually their nose. Their nose is on the top of their head, and they'll come up and they'll catch a breath of air. They'll go, they'll take a breath, and they'll go back down. And that's what this guy is doing. He's just come to the surface, and he's just exhaled, and then taking a breath before diving under. So that's kind of interesting that they live in the water, but they breathe air. And when they're underwater, they're holding their breath. Different whales eat different things. But blue whales and gray whales, like this guy right here, they eat these little tiny shrimp called krill. They're really tiny, which is funny because you think of something really giant like a whale as actually eat something that's really tiny. But what they'll do to eat is they'll swim through the water with their mouth open, and they'll look for these big, huge groups of krill, and they'll just swim through the cloud of krill with their mouth open and suck them up like a big giant vacuum cleaner. So that's what they'll do. They'll swim with their mouths open, and they'll scoop up the krill. I think I've actually got a little picture of it. See, here's this guy going, rawr. That's kind of cool. So here's the big cloud of krill, and he's just swimming through with his mouth open, gobble, gobble, gobble. And then he closes his mouth, and with his tongue, he pushes out all the water, and then just swallows the krill. Pretty cool. So knowing what we know about whales, let's figure out if whales are alive. Well, they need food and water, right? I didn't mention it, but whales actually do need water. They just get the water from the ocean that they're in, and the food they eat in some cases can be krill. So whales do need food and water. Whales breathe, right? We talked about them having to come up to the surface to get a breath of air. Whales grow. When they're born, they're little tiny calves. When I say little tiny, but big little tiny. And then they grow into grown-ups. And whales do move, right? They swim around all day. So whales are alive. So we just made some observations, right? We looked at different pictures of whales. We talked about them. And we decided that they were alive. Okay, now it's time. You're going to record your observations in your Living Things Observations notebook. So go ahead, grab that, open it up to the next blank page, and you're going to write this. I think that this whale is living because... And then you're going to write one of the reasons. You could say, I know this whale is living because it needs food and water, or I know that it's living because it breathes. I know that it's living because it grows, or I know that it's living because it moves. You're going to pick one of those reasons, and you're going to write it inside your notebook. I would also like you to draw a picture of a whale, just like we drew pictures of the plants we were looking at. And you're going to record all that in your notebook. And of course, when you're done, you're going to take a picture of your work and send it to me or Miss Dano. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. If you have any questions, go ahead and reach out to us through Class Dojo, and we'll be happy to help you. Okay? Oh, and if you did this in class this morning, you're done. Don't worry about it. Thank you. Maybe you could draw another picture of a whale if you want. Maybe you could draw a picture of 2 whales. Anyway, there you go. So have at it. If you have questions, let us know. Send pictures. Bye.